Tonight we have an adult game of hide and seek. Somebody's hidden a body and all the evidence. Now, you know we can't have a thing going on like that, so let's try and find it. But first, there are things that are easy to find, and they're a delight when you find them. I'm speaking about the products from our old family friends, the Quaker Oats Company.
Just about finished.
Yeah. Think she's safe here?
She ain't going anywhere.
Too bad. She was a pretty girl.
Not with her skull crushed in, she wasn't.
Zach, this is our next job.
Chellon, Oklahoma? Where's that?
You'll have 2 days to find out. I want you to take the mobile lab and be there Wednesday afternoon.
Wouldn't settle for Thursday, would you?
Why?
Well, it'd fit into my social calendar a little better.
Tell her you'll be there a week later.
Okay. If you'd find some local interest for yourself, you'd stop chasing around the country the way you do.
I'm looking for the county prosecutor's office.
Courthouse, right across the street, mister.
Is, he going to get reelected?
Mister, Nat Telford is always reelected.
Maybe it isn't a very good likeness.
There's my vote, Sheriff.
Mr. Wilder, I'm Joe McHale, County Prosecutor. Happy to have you lend us a hand.
Thank you.
These gentlemen represent the City Council. This is Art Simpson.
How do you do?
George Swissholm, head of the City Council.
Gentlemen, welcome to Chellon, Mr. Wilder. I understand you just completed the case in Pennsylvania?
That's right.
How'd you make out?
They got a conviction.
We hope you can do as much for us.
That's what you're paying for.
George, call Sheriff Telford's office. Tell him Mr. Wilder's here. The sheriff will give you the information about his investigation. Meanwhile, suppose I fill you in on the background.
Go right ahead.
As you know from my letter, we've got a dead girl. I think it was murder. Sheriff thinks it was a case of hit and run. The driver buried the body. By the time she was found, there wasn't enough left to identify her.
Well, are there that many people in this town?
Not permanent residents. We've got a lot of seasonal workers, floaters, drifters. We don't know where they come from, we don't know where they go, and frankly, nobody seems to care much.
Well, why does her being dead make her any more important?
A crime has been committed. As county prosecutor, it's my duty to see that the law is enforced.
Still, you're going to a great deal more trouble and expense than most small towns would.
Isn't that a bit cynical, Mr. Wilder?
Possibly. I just wondered whether the election has anything to do with it.
Thought you just got into town.
We're trying not to let it become a political issue.
Of course, George isn't speaking for me. It's no secret in town that I want to change.
Let me ask you this. How much cooperation can I expect from Sheriff Telford?
About as much as you can put in your eye.
Now, Joe, that's not fair. I'm convinced Telford is doing everything he can.
To get elected.
When is the election?
In about 2 weeks, and if you think the idea is to show incompetency in the sheriff's office, you're absolutely right.
Well, I'll turn in my report as soon as I can, but you'll have to remember one thing.
What's that?
I don't have a vote in Chellon.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning, Mr. Prosecutor.
Sheriff, this is Mr. Wilder.
Oh, yes. Scientific detective fella. Heard you were coming.
Well, I try to be scientific, Sheriff, but in the true sense of the word, I'm not a detective. I merely gather evidence, make tests and analyses, and I arrive at certain conclusions. Then I turn the results over to the local authorities. I'm actually a legal physicist, a lawyer and a scientist combined.
You don't say so.
Mr. Wilder's in private practice. He's available to anyone, including law enforcement officers.
You think you're going to like chilling, Mr. Wilder?
Well, I don't expect to be here long enough to find out.
Well, Joe, you got him discouraged already?
No, I left that to you. We've just been talking politics.
Electioneering, Mr. Prosecutor? Shame on you.
Gentlemen, I don't believe Mr. Wilder is interested in our civic problems. Now, suppose we just give him the facts and let him get on with his job.
Well, that's all right with me. Now, here's what you got to work with, Mr. Wilder. See, somebody buried this body in a clump of trees about 2 miles south of town. A couple of kids hunting jackrabbits with a hound dog found the grave.
How long had it been there?
The coroner says maybe since November, give or take a month. Been a lot of snow, a lot of spring rain since then. You're not going to find much, Mr. Wilder.
Well, there's always something to be found.
Well, now, this is just a little bitty town we've got here, Mr. Wilder. We haven't got any of that scientific detection, but we might just come up with something ourselves for too long.
Well, Sheriff, if you've any new developments...
Oh, no, nothing to talk about. Maybe in a week or two, we'll be ready.
Now, look here. I'm not going to put up with any monkey business. If you're holding back evidence until just before election,
I think that the coroner is the man for me to see. Who is that?
Well, that'll be Doc Creighton, and just a couple blocks down the street.
I'll let him know that you're coming.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Now, why did you have to bring him all the way out here?
Sheriff, this is my office, and I'll run it the way I see fit.
Well, I don't know whether we're doing the right thing. Gentlemen, please, let's not have any argument.
Come in. Mr. Wilder?
That's right.
Come right ahead. Harry here won't mind, will you, Harry? Say hello to Mr. Wilder, Harry.
Hello, Harry.
Harry's a strong, silent type. There, that tastes bad? Well, run along. You'll be a man before your mother yet. Come on.
Wait a minute. You know, in my experience, there's nothing better for a sore throat than a chocolate malt.
God, gee, thanks.
You bucking for my job?
Is the coroner a political job in this town?
Does this office look like I was getting rich off it?
Nice to know I'll get an honest answer.
You will.
Was the girl murdered?
The cause of death was the fracture of the right frontal lobe. Now, that could have been a blow or a fall or hit and run. I kept the skull.
Oh, I'm glad you did, Doc. That'll be useful. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, here's some shreds of cloth that I picked off the remains.
Mm-hmm. I'll send my assistant, Joe Sackett, out to pick this up later. Oh, also, I'd like to visit the grave. Where is it?
Well, you take the first side road south of town, turn left. You drive about 150 yards, and you'll see a grove of scrub trees, but that's all that you'll see.
Oh, why is that?
Population of Chellah, Mr. Wilder, is 8,246 morbid human beings. You'll find 8,000...